Hello there, Leos. Thank you so much for stopping by for your monthly in-depth tarot forecast. This forecast is going to cover November 29th through January 2nd. The first segment that we're going to look at is going to be November 29th through December 5th. I do think it's better to sort of break down the month and see how the energies flow through rather than do one overarching thing that's supposed to cover all the energies of the month. So that's why I break it down like that. It does make it a little bit more of a timely forecast, so if you want to break it down and listen to it as each week comes up appropriately, I'm totally fine with that, and that's why I do put the times up in the corner here. So anyway, this is a general reading, meaning that this is not going to apply to every single Leo who watches this, but most of it will apply to most of you. The other thing about my general readings is that I'm not really looking just for love or just for career. What I'm looking for are the main themes going on in your life as Spirit brings them up. So on top of that, the next thing that we need to know is that cross-watchers, you are welcome, absolutely. However, in these readings on my channel, energies do not flip, energies do not reverse, meaning that this reading is a reading for Leos. This is their reading. This is about the Leo. This is not about you. You might happen to be mentioned, but this reading is about and around Leo and the influences and energies that impact Leo. Okay? Let's just be really clear about that. I am never going to be somebody that says on my channel, these energies can be flip-flopped. No. No, no. As far as I'm concerned, that's sloppy reading. You're not going to get that from me. If you're not sure who you're reading for, you shouldn't be reading. Alrighty. Cards are down, Leos. Let's take a peek. We're going to start with your environment, and your environment is any place where you have energy or effort invested, so you want to be kind of open about what this might be. Usually it's home, but not always. Not always. Okay, so it does look like you are sharing your environment. Some of you are sharing your environment with multiple people. And I feel like you're not feeling so great about your environment. It looks to me like you're feeling like, you know, it's not the prettiest environment. It's just not exactly what you would like it to be. Maybe it needs a paint job. Maybe the kitchen needs to be updated. I'm not sure what this is. Maybe, you know, maybe the water heater needs to be fixed. It would be nice to have hot water. I don't know what this is, but I feel like you're not so in love with your environment as you would like to be. I do think that you're sharing your environment with somebody who is very analytical. They like to think things through. They may not be on the fully mature side. They can make some rash decisions sometimes, but usually they're pretty good about thinking things through, making a plan, following through on that plan. And usually when this person decides to take action, once that decision is made, they act pretty quickly. I do feel like you are working in this environment to make it what you want to be. We've got this Empress energy coming up for you. And the Empress is all about manifesting in a very receptive way those things that she thinks are beautiful and good and healthy. And so I do see you making some changes and some updates to this environment along with the person that you're sharing the environment with. This person may have the ideas about how to make the changes that you want. You may be putting in the elbow grease because this person is more mental. He thinks things through. He or she thinks things through, plans things out. You're very much more tangible oriented. So you could be the person actually putting in the elbow grease on these updates or changes that are being made to your environment. All right. Next thing that we're looking at here talks to me about your subconscious leanings. What do we have here? There's something that has disappointed you. Something, someone, some situation that has disappointed you. You are figuring out how to heal up from that, how to recover from that, and you are moving forward. You're moving away from that disappointment. You're not clutching it to your heart. You're not holding on to that insult or that injury and weighing yourself down. You're letting it go and you're healing up from it. And your subconscious is really working on, how can I speed this process up? I don't like hanging around in this negative energy. How can I make this faster that I can let go of it? Whoop, whoop. That's really good. Okay, Leos, next we're looking at learning style and also communication style during this particular time frame. I do feel like you have somebody who has kind of taken you under their wing or mentored you, trying to offer you some kind of, I feel like some kind of stability. They're trying to teach you things about creating stability for yourself. Also, as far as learning, I think you're paying attention to the emotions of others, and I think you're finding some things out about other people's emotions that maybe you hadn't thought of before. I kind of get the sense that maybe these things were always kind of right under your nose, but you just, it wasn't the most important thing to think about right then. I think you're starting to focus on those things and starting to understand some of the feelings of the people around you and that you're interacting with. Also about learning style, I think that you're getting more familiar with your own feelings. You're getting more in touch with how you feel about things where you may have kind of glossed over some of that stuff before. Everything might have been more about enthusiasm and inspiration. Well, now you're looking a little bit more at the actual feelings, the emotions behind some of that and becoming more aware of it. Communication style. I think that you do have communication that is full of enthusiasm. I also feel like where you are being mentored, I saw in your learning style, I feel like you're also taking somebody else under your wing and you're mentoring somebody as well on the things that you know enough to mentor them about. Very cool. Very cool. I do feel like a lot of your talking has to do with some of the reflections you've been having lately. So as you've been thinking things over lately and gaining insights, you may be sharing some of these new insights with some of the people around you. And then the last thing that I see about communication, Leos, is that there are some people in your sphere of influence that you're very picky about what they know. You're very picky about what you share with them or what you tell them. And you kind of make sure that anytime you talk to them, you make it seem like everything is all blue skies and rainbows. You don't tell them about anything that would be even moderately stressful. Probably not even mildly stressful. Okay, next thing that we're looking at talks to me about your work during this time frame, Leos. Looks to me like you have taken off some time from work and you are coming back. And I think that while you had time off from work, you had a chance to think about what are your priorities in work? What do you want out of work? And what are you willing to bring to the table when it comes to a work situation? I have another card that just talks about going back to work. So basically verification there that you're coming off of some time away from work and going back into that. The thing is that when you're going back to work, I think there's somebody in your sphere of influence who may have some type of authority over you who is not the most honest person around. In fact, I'm hearing that, don't want to use those words, they kiss some derriere, to say it in a family-friendly way. And I feel like they ask you to do things and then they take credit for the things that you do when it comes to somebody else. And I don't think they're very upfront and honest about a lot of things. Let's just leave it there. I think you'll recognize that person. So that's somebody that you're working with. Let's look at inner work before I put this away. What do we have for inner work? I think there's some kind of narrative that you've been telling yourself for a while, Leos, that isn't really right or correct. And I think that the inner work is really to dig to what is right or correct. This narrative that you've been telling yourself may not have originated with you. This may have originated in your childhood with other people telling you things that were just not true, just negative things like, oh, you're overweight, oh, you're ugly, oh, you're not very smart, oh, she's the dumb one, he's the whatever. Okay, you get the idea. We don't need to go through all of them. And so I think you're starting to recognize those negative narratives that you've been telling yourself because other people told you, and these were, supposed to be good sources when you were a kid, right? We were supposed to be able to trust these people. And now you're starting to recognize, you know what? Maybe they were wrong. maybe they were wrong. And the inner work here is really to go back and examine, how much validity do those stories have, and start to rewrite your own story based on reality, not based on somebody else's projections of themselves onto you. Okay? Very positive thing there. I like that kind of inner work. Only leads to good things once you get through it. All right. Next thing we're looking at is lesson or experience of this time frame. So what is the lesson or experience of this time frame? There's some kind of thing going on in your life that you know is fishy. There is definitely a rat in the woodpile here. You know it, but you can't quite put your finger on what information is missing here. You know not everything is being told to you. You're just not sure why everything doesn't add up just yet. Because of this, you are doing some super sleuthing. You're digging for information. Okay? And to me, this feels like it's very personal information. This could be you digging into somebody's phone records, or tracking them with their GPS, or there's definitely some digging for information because you know there's some kind of secret that's not being revealed to you, and I feel like you're determined to figure out what it is. And I think not only are you digging for information, I think you have at least one accomplice that's helping you dig for information. So you've got other people helping you dig as well. Okay? So that's the lesson or experience. I think that's what we're going to do and expand it on. I want to look at, what is this? What is this hidden thing? Why not just find it out, right? We can. Why not do that? So we're going to look at that in the extended reading. What is this hidden thing that you're working so hard to find out about, and you've got other people helping you to find out about? We want to know what that secret is. And we want to know what it pertains to. Is this work? Is this personal life? What is this? All right, next thing, though, that we're looking at for right now has to do with things that you stand for. Okay, so we're going to look at things that you stand for. This is something somebody's wanted to talk to you about, and you felt like you had to explain this, or maybe even you had to defend this. Okay, so, and then we're going to look at how that person feels about you after the conversation. So, all right, Leos, it looks like you were not feeling very inspired about something because you were dealing with some great sadness or some heartbreak. There was the breakup of some type of partnership. Now, partnership can be a romantic partnership, but it also can be like an employer partnership type of thing as well. So there's lots of different partnerships. This could even be a good friend. So there was some kind of partnership that got broken up that caused you a lot of sadness and just made you feel like not really doing much of anything. Kind of put your energy level in the dirt. Okay? And so you're explaining this situation or defending the situation to somebody. How they see you after you've explained or defended this, they see you as somebody who is now looking at your options. What would be something I could do to improve my life right now? They see you as looking at those. They also see you as somebody who is actively doing some self-care, taking care of yourself, maybe pampering yourself, making sure that your bases are covered. And they also see you as somebody who doesn't really have that long-term plan in place yet. I kind of get the sense that it's a little early to have a long-term plan in place. I feel like you're just kind of recovering from whatever this is. I do feel like you will have a long-term plan in place, and I also am hearing you already have more of a long-term plan in place than this person realizes. Even if it's not finalized or solid yet, you've got some pretty good ideas about where you want to go from here. Okay? But this person doesn't realize that. They don't feel like you have a long-term plan in place. Okay? So that's that. Next, we're going to look at what's going on during your flex period. And your flex period is that time when you go through some kind of lesson or experience, and then you incorporate that lesson or experience into your life. And so things start to form up in a little bit of a different way during the flex period. Things start to change direction because you're learning something or you're experiencing something. So what's going on here? La da 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 da. Is this someone Leo's fighting with, or is this two other people? Oh, okay. So you're witnessing some kind of battle or showdown between two people who are really important to you. For a lot of you, this is going to be between your spouse and your parent, same gender of spouse. So if you have a wife, then this will be between the wife and the mama. If you have a husband, this will be between the husband and the papa. Okay? But lesson or experience here is seeing this showdown go on between this parental figure and somebody who I feel like really loves you, really cares about you, and there's this total clash. And I feel like this total clash really has to do with you. And that's why, even though you're not actually one of the people in the clash, this is really impacting you, that this is even happening. I mean, this is never a happiness-making situation here. All right, what's going on at the same time? Oh, that's really interesting. There is a situation, something that was long-term tension, long-term debate, that you're ending. You're putting this to an end. As you're putting this to an end, I think you're starting something new. So it's almost like whenever you put this to an end, now you have extra time to focus somewhere else. And so now there's something, I shouldn't really say something new. This is something that you used to give your attention to, and now you're giving your attention to this again. You had put it on the back burner, now you're putting it up to the front burner, paying more attention to it as you go on. And I think that as you're doing this, you're trying really hard to be careful with the situation that you're bringing back. It looks to me like the situation that you're bringing back, if you don't handle it a certain way, you can kind of go over the line and put it into a toxic place. But if you do handle it in a certain way, it could be something that's really healthy for you. The trick is, can you pull this off in a healthy way? All right? And then the next thing that we're looking at talks about, and this is something that's happening at the same time. I think you have a situation at home that's really a frustrating situation. And it looks like this situation is something that you've taken some time to really think about, to meditate about, to try to figure out, okay, what is the solution here? I do think that by the end of this week, you are going to find a solution that's going to work for you and that's going to make things go a little bit more smoothly when it comes to home or when it comes to family, whichever way this is playing out for you. But at the start of the week, things are kind of rough there. I'm not going to lie. Things are kind of rough there. You guys, if you've been hanging around here a while, you know I don't do the candy coating thing. I despise it. So I'm not going to play with my words with y'all. All right, where do we see you at the end of this week? There is definitely something going on that is making you feel like you have hope to move forward. And I think what's actually happening is there's somebody in your life who has been saying things to you that have really sort of attacked at your self-esteem or worn down your self-esteem. And I think what's going on is you're just detaching from those statements. You're detaching from those words. It's interesting here because I don't feel like you're detaching from that person. Usually that's where the detachment comes in, when somebody says things that are not kind. But I don't feel like you're detaching from the person. I do feel like you're not paying much attention to those words. You're not letting those words get you down like you used to. You're recognizing actually that they cause a problem for your self-esteem, and you're just not letting that happen anymore. You're recognizing the source, and you're saying, you know what, you can think whatever you want to think. I am me. Okay? So let me go ahead and close this out. I'm going to run the expanded on the lesson or experience, and we're going to find out what that secret is that somebody's hiding. Is there a rat in the woodpile? What's going on? Why are you having to do digging and having other people collaborate with you on digging for information? We're going to take a peek at that in the expanded, and then I'm going to take a break, and I'll come back, and we'll look at the next week. Thank you for being here. At Leos, this time we are discussing the time frame from December the 6th through December the 12th. See what kind of energies are flowing through and influencing you during this time frame. See what comes up. What is coming up for Leo during the 6th through the 12th? All right, Leo, 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 let's look at your environment first. What do we have? We have you dominating your environment, being large and in charge here. Looks like you have put together some kind of strategy around your environment, and putting together that strategy has removed a whole lot of stress from you. We like it. Those are the kind of cards we like to start our time frame with. Next thing that we're looking at, Leos, is your subconscious leanings. There is a lot of confusion coming in around you, and I think this confusion has to do with partnership, and that you don't really know exactly what you want from a partnership or what you want to give for a partnership. How much do you want to compromise for a partnership? In which areas of your life do you want to compromise for a partnership? What do you expect the other person to give you in a partnership? You just don't really know what makes you happy in a partnership right now, and there's a lot of confusion around that, and so your subconscious is really working on this problem or this situation for you. Alrighty, next thing we're looking at talks to me about learning style and also communication style. What do we have here? What do we have here? What do we have here? I think you're coming to a deeper understanding of your own emotions right now. I think we saw that actually last time a little bit too, but this is showing up again as a prominent thought. Definitely. All right, what else? Looks to me like you're learning what it takes to make things go smoothly in your life. What kind of routine do you have to get into? You know, what does it take? Does it take, you know, writing out a list of tasks? Does it take meditating to start your day? You're figuring that out. What does it take to make things go smoothly in your life? And then the next thing that we have, you're learning how to really focus. You're learning how to focus in on your energy, focus in on your goals, and keep that focus and the follow through actually going. Quite a feat for a fire sign. That's some big stuff there. All right, let's see about communication style. It looks like there are some people in your sphere of influence with whom communication is a little bit rocky right now. A little bit rocky, and you may even be avoiding communicating with them. I also feel like this is somebody that you used to really enjoy communicating with, but now things are a little edgy. All right, what else do we have for communication style? There are some people that you have kind of given up on communicating with. I don't think they've given up on communicating with you. I think they're talking to you till they're blue in their face or to your ears, but I don't think you're saying much back. I think you've kind of decided that it's really worthless to say anything back because it's kind of like talking to a wall. All right, and then what else do we have as communication style? Hmm. There is somebody in your sphere of influence that you communicate with a lot, and I mean a lot every day. It looks like just before the middle of this time frame, there's going to be an interruption in that communication where things kind of go radio silent. And I'm not sure if that's because there's a technological issue, like a phone gets dropped in the water and takes a day or two to be replaced, or what exactly is going on here. But it just looks like you go from communicating lots and lots and lots to radio silence, back to communicating lots and lots and lots just as suddenly as you quit communicating. Very interesting. Very interesting. All right, next thing that we're looking at talks to me about work. What do we have for work? Work. What do we have for work? It looks like you're putting out a lot of energy and effort on work right now. There's something that had been put on the back burner. Maybe you were really busy, so some of the everyday stuff had to be kind of put back on the back burner and now it's stacked up. Or maybe you were on vacation and now you're coming back and you're playing catch up. But there's something that you weren't giving as much attention to that now you're giving a lot of attention to again. And it does look like you're making long-term plans when it comes to work. So this could be that you're deciding, okay, you know what, I'm going to stay with this company, or you're making other long-term type plans like retirement, or you could be making plans about starting your own company on the side, but making some kind of long-term plans when it comes to work. Now let's look at inner work, those things that we did to improve our own character, to make us happier with who we are in general. Work a little comes out, working with the child inside. Huh, that's odd, Leo. I'm hearing the fractured, damaged child inside, the traumatized child inside. So whenever this comes up and we're talking about inner work, there's a lot of people who have been traumatized and who have been injured or damaged as a child by things that happen in their environment or things that happen to them because of people who were supposed to be our caregivers and taking care of us. So I think that what's going on is you're looking back at some of this stuff and maybe you're even realizing that it was traumatic or damaging for the first time. A lot of times we grow up in traumatic situations, don't even realize they're traumatic, we think they're normal. So maybe you're having that realization for the first time and you're doing some work on your own psyche and how you think about things, because those things tend to influence how we look at the world and how we look at ourselves. And so I feel like there's a renewing of thought processes. You're getting back into some thought processes that make a lot more sense than to go along with whatever was caused by this trauma in the past. And I think you're also enforcing some way of keeping that progress that you've made moving forward so that you don't fall backwards into those old habits of thought again. That's your inner work for this time frame. Let's look at your lesson or experience. Lesson or experience. No, I'm lying. This is not the lesson or experience. This is the part of your personality that's being grown or expanded. This is interesting. You are working on, I think you're working on working something out with somebody who has shown you their true colors. And I think that whenever they show you their true colors, you don't think as highly of them as you used to, but it does give you a new idea about what kind of direction you can go with this. So I want to look at this a little bit deeper. This is going to be what the expanded's about. It's going to be about this work, is this love, is this a family thing, you know, what's going on there. So we're going to take a peek. We're going to take a peek at that in the expanded. Next thing that we're looking at, next thing that we're looking at. This has to do with something that you stand for or something that you defend, okay? So, stand for or defend. You've definitely been manifesting some of the things that you want into your life. And it hasn't really been easy going. It's been a little bit slow going. You've had to put in some elbow grease to make these things happen. But by doing so, this has allowed you to get over some kind of sadness or some kind of grief that was at one point almost all encompassing for you. Okay? And so after you've explained this situation to somebody, how they see you is that you are walking a fine line. You're really working hard to keep your balance here. They also see you as, I'm hearing the word nosy. Now this is my card that does talk about digging for information. So, but the word I'm actually hearing from Spirit is they're seeing you as nosy. They're seeing you as digging for information that maybe you possibly don't need, you know? And they also see you as somebody who is really good at teamwork, somebody who is an asset to any kind of team and to moving forward with anything. Okay? So that's what we have for that. Next thing that we have coming up, I know you guys can probably hear there's noise going on behind me. There's company here in the house for a couple of weeks. A family of 5 and another younger couple in their 20s. So we've got lots of activity just on the other side of this wall. So if you hear noise, I think right now they're throwing up an air mattress and inflating it. So if you hear noise, it's just a lot of people enjoying each other's company out there. So I apologize, it's not the most professional of background sounds, but it's life. It's life. Life is going on all around us, eh? All right, so let's look at your lesson or experience here and what happens as you incorporate that into your life during this time frame. Lesson or experience, lesson or experience. Okay, so you've been in a situation where you felt like you were in competition with other people. And this can be a professional situation or this can be a personal situation, either one. And you really didn't like feeling like you were in competition with other people. I really get the sense that you felt like you gave enough to this situation that why is anybody thinking about competing? Like, why is anybody looking at any competition? Who's going to do more than what you do for this person or this situation or this company or whatever? Okay? And so it looks to me like you've realized that, you know what, there's competition going on here. These people don't see my value. They don't see what I bring to the table. They don't see my worth. That's okay. I am leaving this situation. I don't need to be a part of this competition. I'm leaving this situation. You choose somebody else. It's not going to be me because I'm not going to fight for my position when I've already earned it. And so you're leaving this behind. You're just refusing to be manipulated like that. Good for you. Kudos to you. All right, what else is going on at the same time? Oh yeah, you're totally annoyed. You're totally annoyed by this, and you are deciding to leave. And as you've decided to sever ties, now your next decision is, okay, well, where do I go from here? And honestly, I don't see you having a problem making that decision. Not in these cards. So what else is happening? Your self-esteem is kicking butt. I love it. Your self-esteem is right up there. Glad to see that, Leos. And actually, this has made you happy. This has made you happy. This has brought you a happier home life. I don't think that at this point you're worried about money. This has brought you a happier home life, and you're not communicating with these people that you've decided didn't appreciate you. You're not communicating with them. They're just out. They're done. All right. Now, where do we see you at the end of this week? Well, whatever's going on, you're still doing what it takes to make the budget work. You're doing what you need to do to bring in the money, and you're doing what you need to do to make sure that you're not like spending luxuriously or impulsively. You're making that budget work. And you're celebrating something. There's something going on that you're celebrating. And it looks to me like this could be very easily a family celebration or a celebration that involves family. So you could be celebrating an engagement. You could be celebrating somebody's birthday, somebody's first communion. This could just be the family getting together before Christmas. Isn't St. Nicholas Day like the 12th? No, it's the 6th. That's the beginning of this time frame. So, you know, this could very easily be a family celebration. And I think even with the celebration that you're going on, you're still making sure that your budget's cool. You've got this, Leos. Very self-empowered. I like it, I like it, I like it. I am going to take a peek at what's going on here with this, where your personality is being grown or expanded, where we had that you were working on something and then you saw somebody's true colors and you decided that gave you inspiration for a new idea. I want to find out, is this new idea about a new way you can work on this, or is this new idea about doing something else with somebody who hasn't shown you true colors like this? So we're going to find out a little bit more about the specifics of this situation in the extended, and you can find the link for the extended in the description box below. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you guys for being here. I'll see you back here in a few minutes. Welcome back, Leo. This time we are looking at your time frame. Whoops, you just had tons of cards fall. I think we're going to stop shuffling right there. If that wasn't a message, I don't know what would be. So we're looking at the time frame from the 13th to the 19th for you of December. Let's see what comes up. Definitely have some things coming out enthusiastically. There we go. Come back here. There we go. Once again, this is a general reading, and this is a general reading for Leos. That means if you're a cross-watcher, you're welcome to be here, but this reading is not about you in any case, shape, or form. This is about the Leo. This is about and for Leos. Okay. Energies do not flip, not on my channel. No, no. That's a no-no. All right, guys. Let's look at your environment, Leos, for the time frame from December 13 to 19. Remember, your environment is any place where you have energy or effort invested. So you want to be open to what I could be talking about here. Looks like, once again, we see you sharing your environment, and it also looks like this is an environment that maybe you were not spending so much time in before, and now you're spending time in again. So you're sharing this environment with, I'm going to say, for some of you this is two people, and for some of you this is one person that has all of these attributes. Okay, so we're going to look at this. First person that you may be sharing your environment with, for those of you who are sharing with two people, is somebody who is very nurturing, is very helpful, but maybe not so emotionally expressive. Somebody who really likes to analyze things and look at things from a logical standpoint more than an emotional standpoint. This is somebody who can see BS 10 miles away walking down the road, okay? The other person that you're sharing your environment with, if this is two people for you, now remember, if this is one person, then we've got all these attributes wrapped up together. But the second person that shows up in your environment is somebody who is very positive, very outgoing, pretty much speaks their mind, and can be very creative, extremely creative. This is somebody who would do well as an entrepreneur. She just thinks in a very pioneering sort of way. Like, she doesn't let her thoughts or her decisions be guided by culture or by society or what everybody else is doing. Okay, so somebody who thinks outside of the box. That's a really good problem solver, by the way. So, yep, you're in an environment that you've been in before, and it looks like you're sharing it with one or two people. Either one person with all those attributes wrapped together in one, or two people with those attributes, depending who you are. But we have about a 50-50 split on those two storylines there. Now, let's look at your subconscious leanings, Leo, Leo, Leos, Leo, Leo, Leos. My dad's name is Leo. Da, 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 da. All right, subconscious leanings. Oh, look at this. Look at this. You are thinking about going back to something that at one point made you feel really depleted. But you're thinking about going back to it, and you're thinking about what it would be like if it would be successful to go back to it, that you would have something to celebrate and be victorious. And not only would you be celebrating, but I think you feel like other people would be patting you on the back and telling you what a great person you were, that you were able to go back to this situation. That's what's going on in your subconscious. That's what's going on in your subconscious. So here's what I have to point out to you. When we're talking about and thinking about going back to something that made us feel depleted before, why are we thinking we can go back to it again and it'll be something to celebrate? You may want to check how rosy those thoughts might be, how rosy tinted they might be with the reality there. How far out of sync with reality are they? Or are they in alignment with reality? Where is Neptune in your astrological chart during this time? That might be a good thing to look at before you take any action on these subconscious leanings. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens, Leos, Leos, Leos. Okay, next we're looking at learning style and also communication style. I do think you guys, once again, I'm getting a dual story for you guys. So some of you are doing one, some of you are doing another. But some of you are learning about healing methods, and I feel like this is homeopathic or organic or healing methods that are more in alignment with nature than they are with synthetic chemical type stuff. La, da, 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 da. Some of you are actually, this is odd, some of you are actually learning how to use a cold pack effectively. Hate to say that because that means somebody around you needs a cold pack, maybe you. Either way though, it's coming up. It's coming up. I can't candy coat it. I do think you're also learning about money. You're learning about saving money and budgeting money during this time frame. Or taking that budget to the next level, taking savings to the next level for yourself, but definitely learning about it. What else are you learning about? I think you're getting some ideas about how you could create more green in your life. More green in your life. For some of you that is going to be money. For some of you that's just going to be farming or plants or hydroponics or house plants or something. But creating more green in your life is exactly how that comes across to me. Alright, next let's look at your communication style. Languages of love. Leos, I think you may be doing something with your newfound information about style healing by helping somebody who's not feeling very well with some of this information to start feeling better. La da 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 da. What else do we have for communication style? Yep, I do think that a lot of your communication is very much solid, very grounded. I don't see a lot of flip-flop, wishy-washy, illusion creating type stuff here. I think people really, you know, when you're communicating, people know exactly what they're hearing. There's no doubt about what it is you're trying to say to them. And I'm not saying that you're being sarcastic about this or anything at all. I just think that you're being very direct and matter of fact. There's nothing sarcastic or cutting about this, but everything that you're saying is just very clear. Alright? I also feel like when we look at communication style, you've taken a little bit of time to reflect on how you feel about a particular situation, and I think you're letting somebody know that they did not make you very happy in some way or other. You're letting them know. I think you're just being very honest with them. I don't feel like this is, you know, throwing a temper tantrum or throwing a plate across the room or even shouting. I just think you're letting somebody know that they didn't make you very happy. All right? That they disappointed you, is what I'm hearing. All right. Next thing we're looking at is work. Workity work, work. Work, work. Wow. Looks to me like you may be doing some work from home, but you don't like it. The truth is, you don't like it. I think it looks to me like you had this idealized version about what it's like to work from home. And now that you're working from home, you're finding out the truth about it and you're realizing, oh, it's not all it was cracked up to be. I can tell you a little bit about that. I work from home and normally it's very quiet around here, but for 2 weeks we have company and a lot of it is young company. And so there's a lot of noise that comes through that normally is not an issue at all. So this may be something like what you're dealing with, like there's a lot of distractions around you, there's a lot of noise around you when you're trying to have a quiet, professional sounding environment. If that's the case, I could totally relate, trust me. But whatever's going on here, it looks to me like you're working from home and you're realizing, I'm not really liking this so much. This is not as much fun as I thought it was, or this is not as easy to work from home as I thought it was. There's something about this experience that comes out to the truth. Oh yeah, there were also dog guests as well. Anyway, there's something about working from home that comes out that is not what you thought it would be, not as cracked up as you thought it to be. We might look at this. We might look at this a little bit later. No, I want to wait. Usually the listener experience is the thing that is worth digging into. That's just a curiosity thing for me there. All right, all right, all right. Not listener experience. Your personality is grown or expanded is what I meant to say. The listener experience, we pretty well expand on it right here. Okay, and we are going to look next at where your personality is being grown or expanded during this particular time frame. It looks like there's somebody that you really care about who's giving you some bad advice. And it looks to me like you know that that advice is bad and you are not taking that advice. I think this is a little bit hard for you to make this decision to not take this advice because you don't want to hurt this person's feelings or mess with their ego or just rock the boat, basically. Because I feel like you really do love this person, you care about this person, but you just, I think that you know that this advice is no good and you just can't take it. You're moving forward with it. So what should we look at? Should we look at the bad advice or should we look at why you don't like working from home? We'll look at the bad advice. That's the situation we're going to look at. Okay. In the expanded. Alrighty, so next thing that we're looking at is something that you stand for, something that you may have to even defend, but definitely that you stand for. And so whenever I'm looking at this thing that you stand for, it looks like you have an opportunity. You have an opportunity here. This looks like some kind of... I feel like this is some kind of personal opportunity, okay? And I feel like... Where are we? December 13th to 9. To me, I feel like this could be, is saying, well, you're far away from family or your family's far away from you. Why don't you come spend some time with us over the holidays? Why don't you go with us when we go Christmas caroling or something like that, or we've got this Christmas party that we're having, for my company. Why don't you come and hang out with everybody and join in even though you don't work for the company? There's something like this going on. There's an opportunity for you to spend some happy time with family members or with tribe. And it feels to me like it's tribe. It feels to me like you're feeling a little bit lonely here. And so somebody offers you time to spend with, basically they're sharing their family with you or sharing their tribe with you and inviting you to come and be a part of it during this time frame. Okay? And so somebody's talked to you about this and said something, why would you do that? Well, first of all, I got to tell you, I feel like you're lonely. I feel like that's why this offer was made to start with. you're lonely or you're missing somebody. Maybe you're missing your own family. So anyway, once you have this explanation with this person, or they confront you and you defend this, how they feel about you is they feel like you're somebody that is, you're just trying to pick a fight, you're just trying to offend somebody, is how they feel. And they feel like it gives you a big ego. They feel like you're on an ego trip to go spend time with somebody else's family. Nice to see they have a high opinion of you, eh? Good thing their opinion doesn't count, right? Alright, next thing that we are looking at is the flex period. This is when you have a lesson or experience that you go through, and as you incorporate that lesson or experience into your life, then this kind of shifts the direction of the way things are going for you and changes the shape of your trajectory a little bit. Maybe a lot, just depends. La da 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 da. Okay, so it looks like you've got a lot on your plate, that you're just sort of really hectically trying to handle everything and trying to keep everything moving. I think you're pouring a lot of energy into keeping everything moving, and you may be totally exhausted at the end of your days. And it feels to me like this is kind of a time when you're sort of being irresponsible about taking care of yourself. You're putting yourself last day after day after day, instead of looking after the basic needs of your own health and your own mental health, rest, rejuvenation, recreation. So this is what I see up as the lesson or experience. Let's look at what's going on during this time frame as well. At the same time, that's interesting. You're making plans to find out some kind of information, and then once you find out this bit of information, then you're going to just not talk to this person again that you're getting the information from. But you don't want to talk to this person really anymore, but you do want this little bit of information first. You want to understand what's been going on, and then you want to shut it down. You want to satisfy that curiosity first. Look at you. All right, also at the same time, yeah. I think you're torn. You're torn between finding this piece of information and then shutting down communication, because we've also got you actually taking a break. And I feel like you're taking a break because somebody is trying to be too in charge of you. They're trying to be too bossy. They're trying to push you around. They're trying to tell you what you should be doing with your time, with your life, with your money, something. And you're like, you know what? Oh my gosh, I can't breathe. I got to step back. Because you're just not enjoying this anymore. Okay? So I think you're stepping back. I think you're still, even as you're stepping back and you're detaching, I do think you're still kind of fishing. You are kind of fishing for some information. And as soon as you find that information, then I think that you're beyond detaching. Then you're just going radio silent, man. That's what I see there. All right, next thing that we're looking at is where we see you at the end of this time frame. What's going on here? You're still looking for information. You're digging for information now, but the thing is, I think what happened is before you broke up with this other person that you wanted to break up with, but you wanted to get your information first, I think they broke up with you before you could break up with them. You're disappointed because you still don't understand what on earth was going on here, and you are still digging for information. That's where we see you at the end of this time frame. So I'm going to take a peek in an expanded reading, and there will be a link down below that you can get that if you want it, in an expanded reading about this whole bad advice thing. Because when somebody gives us bad advice, guess what? That can really change things. And if we know that we're getting bad advice, then maybe we know what advice we should be following. That can change things too. So I want to take a peek at that. Maybe that'll kind of change how things work out here into a more positive deal. So that's going to be what your extended is about for this particular week. And then I'll come back and we'll look at next week for you. All right, Leos, right now let's look at December 20th through the 26th. Merry Christmas to those of you who celebrate Christmas. Let's see what comes up for energies influencing during this time frame. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. Okay, Leos. Okay, my dears, your cards are on the table. Let's take a peek at your environment to start with. La da da da, la da 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 da. Looks to me like you're really enjoying your environment. It's a good environment. Looks also like people might like to join you in the environment, and you're kind of letting them know, no, I'm really liking the time that I'm spending here. I don't want extra people around. And it does look like whatever this environment is, you are coming into some kind of agreement more long-term with the environment. So it could be that you're signing a lease, that you're purchasing a house, that you're doing some kind of agreement about your environment. If this isn't about home, this could be that you really love the environment that you work in, and that you've got some kind of long-term agreement about where you work coming in too. And you're also sort of defending your turf, making sure that nobody comes in and takes your spot there. All right. Next thing we're going to look at is your subconscious leanings during this time frame, Leo. So what do we have for subconscious leanings? Looks like you're starting something new that you're feeling very excited about. And it looks like as you're starting this thing, almost before it even gets off the ground, there's something that comes back from the past that sort of bites you and has, this is an old tension or an old debate with somebody that shows back up here. And I feel like this really offers some interference into what this is that you've just started. And it looks like this is something that is creating a disturbance. There's a decision that comes out of this that isn't made in a fair way. It comes up to me that somebody from the past is coming into this situation that you've got started now, and they're bringing gossip and maybe even libel or slander into the situation, which is causing somebody to shut down whatever this is that you just got started. And so this is what you're working on your subconscious. Okay, how to deal with that, how to get around that, how to move forward with this situation in spite of the fact that this unfair decision has been made. Okay? Next thing that we're looking at talks to me about learning style and communication style during this particular time frame. As far as style, I feel like you could be teaching or mentoring somebody right now, and as you're teaching or mentoring them, their questions are making you remember some information, or maybe even making you dig for information that you hadn't thought of before. There is a whole lot of clarity coming in around a particular situation right now too, and I feel like you are really focused in on that clarity or that truth. It looks like whatever this clarity is, whatever this truth is, it could be something that you kind of didn't have the strength to look at before. And now you're feeling pretty strong in yourself, so you're able to look at this truth and recognize what it might imply for you and what you might need to do about it. Learning style. I do feel like your learning around natural or homeopathic healing is still continuing and going on in this time frame, although to a much lesser degree than I saw the last time around. La da da da. Communication style. Once again, we have very clear, solid communication. People are not having a hard time understanding what you're saying or what you're meaning. Yep, I don't feel like you're defensive at all. Everything is just kind of open and matter of fact, kind of like we saw last time. Once again, I have this dip in communication showing up with somebody. Like you communicate with them all day long, every day, and then there's this radio silence kind of in the middle of the week where you don't hear from them again. That's interesting. And then last thing about communication. It looks to me like you have some old friends that you've known for a long time, or colleagues that you've worked together with a long time. And it looks to me like you guys are sort of comparing notes about what's going on from to what's going on where they are, and this one is, and this one is. And you guys are kind of comparing notes all around a similar topic. And it feels like you guys work together in similar industries, if not the same industry. And so just comparing different things that are coming up in different areas in that industry with people that you've worked with for a long time or known for a long time in that industry. Okay, next we're looking at work. Work. It's interesting. I do feel like you work with friends here, but I also feel like there's some kind of restriction going on where you're not able to do everything that you would normally do at work or that you would like to do at work. It looks like you're limited. You're limited at work. So it may be that you feel like, you could take on more responsibilities or different types of tasks than what you're doing right now. And management might be saying, no, you're not. We're not letting you. We don't think you're capable. And so we have this push-pull dichotomy of you really wanting to grow and expand but being restricted, and the people up above you who are making these decisions, they may not see your potential as clearly as you do. However, I don't feel like work is all bad because, like I said, I do feel like you work with friends. You work with people that you enjoy being with. Let's look next at that part of your personality which is growing or expanding during this time frame. Growing or expanding. All right, so interestingly enough, there's somebody that you were planning on collaborating with, or maybe you've been collaborating with, but now they can no longer carry their end of the deal anymore. And I feel like you're disappointed and you're hurt by that. I think you expected that whatever it is you're collaborating on, that it would be important enough to that other person to stick around and carry out with it. The interesting thing here for me, though, is that even though you're hurt or disappointed by this, I feel like there's something that is new that is coming into your life that you're going to really enjoy instead. And that's what we're going to look at. We're going to look at that when we look at the expanded. What is this new thing? What is this thing you were collaborating on? What is this new thing coming in now that that collaboration is not working? Is it a new person to collaborate with? Is it a new idea altogether? We're going to take a peek at that in the extended, and you'll be able to see the link down below in the description box. Next thing that we're looking at, talk to me about something that you had to stand up for, that you had to defend or explain to somebody during this time frame. There is this concept of heartache or a broken heart, and it's interesting. I think you're sad for somebody that you care about, you're maybe even attracted to, but I think you're sad for them because their family life is not a happy one. It's not a stable one. And I think you just wish that they could find some happiness in that family life. And as you have explained this to somebody, how they're seeing you is they're seeing you as somebody who is moving away from something that's negative, that's been holding you back or holding you down, kind of daydreaming about how things could be better, but not really. They see you as somebody who doesn't really have the self-esteem to move forward and make things better. So it's interesting because their opinion of you, it's kind of hard to see where that ties in with what you've just explained to them about. Because you're feeling sad for somebody, they're seeing you as moving away from a negative situation. But not being able to because your self-esteem isn't high enough, even though you can daydream about how things could be better. I'm not really sure how that ties together. Usually those two tie together a lot better than that. Maybe this other person just like totally had you tuned out and wasn't even listening to you at all. All right, so the next thing that we're looking at talks to me about your flex time. This is the time where you have some kind of lesson or experience that you're going through, and as you go through this, you're incorporating it into your life. We're going to look at what happens with this lesson or experience and what happens as you incorporate it. So, lesson or experience. Lesson or experience. There is somebody that you want to talk to, and this is somebody who holds information. She's a holder of information, is what Spirit says. So this is somebody who has some knowledge, and you're communicating back and forth with that person in the hopes of finding something out. And I think you are trying to communicate with that person in hopes of getting some kind of ancient wisdom or ancient knowledge, or you're communicating with that person in hopes that they can put you in touch with some type of source of ancient wisdom or ancient knowledge. That's really interesting. I like that. What else is going on at the same time? So you really have your defenses up about something coming back, something renewing and rejoining, something that you've participated in before, but now you don't want to give your time and energy and effort to that. And so you're prepared. You're prepared whenever somebody offers you this chance to reopen that gate. You're prepared to say no, 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 no. And I think that you are, because you're keeping that gate closed, this is allowing you to manifest in other areas of your life in the ways that you want to, which is really nice. I like to see you guys manifesting. That's totally cool. Also going on at the same time, yeah, this is the death of some type of relationship, some type of partnership. Not only is this partnership dead, and it could be a romantic partnership or a work partnership, I'm really not sure which here. Not only is this partnership dead, you refuse to work on it in any way, shape, or form. You might be communicating, but you're definitely not putting in effort or energy to make this better. This is just something that just does not make you happy at all. And so I think because it doesn't make you happy at all, you just really are not interested in spending a lot of time working on this. Can't blame you. Can't blame you. Where do we see you at the end of this time frame, Leo? Where do we see you? You've definitely had a major change of perspective when we see you at the end of the time frame, and you are moving on. There's somebody in your life who's trying to do some type of rash actions, and I think what they're doing is some kind of big dramatic show to get your attention. And what they're not realizing is that that is just making you that much more determined not to pay attention to them. So even though they're doing this rash show, it's almost like everything that they do to try to get your attention back on them just reinforces to you why it was such a good decision to not make that such a big part of your life anymore. And just keeps you that much stronger in moving on. Okay? So that's where we see you at the end of that week. I am going to take a peek at this lesson or experience, see what it is that is so exciting and happiness making for you now, and see what it is that, is you're not able to collaborate with somebody else on anymore because they're not carrying their end of the stick. So we'll take a look at that in the expander below. You can see the link down in the description box. After that, I'll come back and we'll look at your last week of December. See you again soon. Okay, Leos, we are back one last time to take a look at the last week of December. This is going to be covering December the 27th through January the 2nd. Let's just see what kind of energies come up as influencing this time frame. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you also for thumbs ups and for sharing this video with other people who may find it beneficial. And of course, thank you to those of you who do super chats whenever I go live. I appreciate that as well. And thank you also to those of you who schedule private readings and private Reiki sessions with me. It is because of your support at every single level that I am able to do what I love to do for a living. And I forgot to say thank you to those of you who are buying the new extended readings, which I've never offered before this month. I'm waiting to see what you guys think of them. All right, let's look at your environment during this time frame, Leo. What do we have showing up? You're feeling really good about your environment, and I like this because I think it was you guys at the very beginning of this month. You weren't really feeling good about your environment. I saw you making some changes. Now you're feeling really awesome about your environment. It looks to me like you're really focused about letting go of those last little loose ends to make it exactly what you want. Very, very cool. Next thing we have coming up talks to me about your subconscious leanings during this time frame, Leo. There's definitely something that you are thinking about heavily. You may even be meditating about, but you're taking your time sorting this over, waiting till you're comfortable with where you land on this issue. And this issue has to do with somebody who is in your life. And I think that this person is somebody who likes to be in charge. They have good integrity. They have high expectations, but their high expectations are not just about you. Those high expectations apply to everyone around them and even to this person themselves. So they're not really asking anybody to do anything that they would not require of themselves in the same position. So this is somebody who is in your sphere of influence. I think that in your subconscious, you're really thinking hard about this person. You're trying to get a good perspective around this person and this person's position in your life. He does have some type of position of authority, he or she. This, could be a boss, could be a significant other, but it's somebody who has a pretty good-sized influence on your life. And it looks to me like this person may be doing something that you're not so thrilled about. They may have made a choice that you're not so thrilled about, and this choice may apply to both of you or to you and them and other people as well. But it looks to me like I don't feel like you feel this person has made this choice that you don't like just to be contrary or to be anything negative. And I think that you are really meditating and just trying to find something here that would work out as a good opportunity, something that you can feel happy about here, something that you can actually work with from this decision that this person has made. So that's what's in your subconscious mind, is how to turn this decision that you're not so thrilled about into some type of positive thing, some type of opportunity for something good. All right, next thing that we have coming up for you, Leos. I feel like there's somebody in your family, somebody who is normally very outgoing, very positive, very friendly, somebody who thinks outside the box, who doesn't let culture tell her what to do, somebody who's very encouraging and uplifting, but maybe in a quirky kind of way. She might be like, the aunt in the family that's just a little bit odd. She wears a little too much jewelry or a little too much makeup. She's new wavy or whatever it is. But this person has been going through a really hard time lately, and they are really facing the blues. And I think sort of hitting a wall here. And it looks to me like this person is not only hitting the wall, but just really, I think that you're interacting with this person and really trying to help them to get beyond this. But the sense that I have here is that this is a bigger problem than just talking it over with somebody. this is something that is really going to take some help and some intervention. And I feel like this is something that is really super heavy on your mind. Really super heavy on your mind. Yeah. We're not going to look at learning and communication style right now because that message sort of took that place. This happened to be the more important message of this time frame. So, yeah, I think that really the Spirit is basically giving you a heads up that this person is going to need some help, and more help than just you can give. So part of your help would be recommending that they get more help than just you. All right. Next thing that we're looking at, Leos, talks to me about your work. Looks to me like you're walking away from work. All right. You're walking away from your job or your contract. Maybe your contract has expired, but there's definitely a walk away that's coming in here. And I feel like you're taking some time after you walk away to rest, to rejuvenate. Maybe you're not walking away permanently. Maybe you're just calling in sick. And I think that by resting and rejuvenating, you're starting to find your peace. I think that you felt pushed and hectic and frantic with work. And I think that walking away to take this rest time, to take this downtime, has really helped you just sort of calm where you needed it, because it feels to me like you did really need it. Okay? I guess let's look at inner work. I didn't look at that. We're still looking at this whole idea about you studying healing and healing in a more natural way than what Western medicine provides. And so I think that your inner work really has to do with finding how this healing can help you with this calm, with bringing in this calm, with losing some of this hecticness, with bringing in some zen for yourself. So you're looking at healing in the space of emotions. What kind of foods are supportive of calm, of peace, of what kind of foods are not the type of foods that bring in anxiety and tenseness. Okay? La da da da. Foods and activities, I'm hearing. Okay, let's look next at that part of your personality which is growing or expanding right now. Ooh, look, we've got confirmation on that. You're growing and healing. You're getting better at this whole natural healing thing. You're starting to get some experience under you. You're starting to get enough information under you that you can really take the bull by the horns on some of the things that you come across. I do think that you're spending a lot of money on some of these natural healing products, and you may even be blowing the budget. You may be spending more than what you had planned to on these things, but I feel like this is an empowered choice that you're making. I don't feel like you're blindly spending without looking at the budget. I think you're looking at the budget and you're telling yourself, you know what, I can catch that up. I can replenish this. This box that's supposed to go here to cover something else. I can replenish that on my next paycheck, but for right now I want to invest in this, because it comes across as a really empowered decision to spend this money on something that has to do with healing, and healing in a natural way. Alrighty, Leo, 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 Leo. Looking at something that you have to stand for or defend or explain. There's the ending of a partnership here that shows up. And what shows up is you doing some self-care after the ending of this partnership, and really feeling positive about your future and about the relationships that are in your life even after you end this partnership. And how the other person feels after they've had this conversation where you've explained this to them. I think they get it. It just comes up that they don't really get it to me. I think they're just having a hard time wrapping their mind around how you can be happy so soon after ending a partnership. And so they feel like you're keeping secrets. There's something up. You're keeping secrets. And they also feel like that this show is not going to last for long. They're expecting that this is a show and that it's just not going to last for long, and pretty soon you're going to break down and nobody's going to, and then everybody's going to see how you're really doing. How you're really doing. That's how they feel about it. Skeptical pieces, aren't they? Skeptical people, I should say. All right, next we're looking at your lesson or experience during your flex time. What's going on here? Tap it. Oh, we have bad advice again? Is this the same person? Bad advice? This is the same person giving you bad advice, but you're handling it differently this time. You're not feeling like you have to follow this advice just because you care about this person. This is actually, I think you're accepting that it's bad advice. You're doing your own thing, and things are moving along quite well for you. I think you've released yourself from any kind of obligation to listen to somebody's advice just because they give it. Because I have a feeling you didn't really ask for their advice to start with. So you're not feeling obligated to follow this advice, and because you're not following this advice, you've actually got things going well for you. What else is going on at the same time? Yeah, you're holding back. I don't think that you're telling this person necessarily that you're not following their advice. I think you're just going, that's interesting. Thank you for your input. And then you're going off and you're doing your own thing. So you're sort of holding back in that manner, like you're really not sharing with them what you're actually doing, even after they give you the advice. I think that they find out after the fact, after you've already done whatever it is you're doing. I think that they find out after the fact, and they are not happy about it. This could be a really explosive reaction coming from them. And I think that this is going to be something where you're going to have to explain to them, look, that just doesn't make sense. That's why I did this. This makes much more sense to me. What else is going on at the same time? Yeah, I think even having to explain this, I think this is really stressing you out. It makes you feel like, I just get this strong sense of anxiety here. All you really want is just for everybody to be happy around you. You don't want all this stress or anxiety, and especially if this person that gave you the advice was a family member that you had to go against this advice. I think this is really stressing you out. Even though you know you can't take that advice and you release yourself from the guilt of it, I just feel like this person is just causing a ruckus to the point that it's a lot of stress for you, and that anxiety is sort of making you drop things through the cracks. I really want to look at this bad advice again. I know we looked at it last time, and maybe it'll be the same thing, maybe it won't. But that's having a big impact on you. I'm really curious what that's going to be. I want to find out what it is. I think that's all I really want to look at it is, what is that bad advice? Obviously you see it coming because you're not following it, but I'm just going to do an extended and look at that because I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. Let's see. How do we see you at the end of this month? Really, January 1st or 2nd, where do we see you? I see you really in a relaxed spot. I feel you just being calm. Things are finally going in a good direction. In spite of all the stress that this other person is causing, things are going in a good direction, especially when it comes to work. Work is going really good. You've got a good reputation at work. I think your name is getting around at work, and you're becoming more highly in demand, and that's allowing you to feel more relaxed because that takes some financial pressure off of you. Okay? So that is your month. If I see you for the extended, then yay. If I don't, then I hope that what I gave you right here will be absolutely helpful to you as you go through the month. And if I don't see you for a private session between now and then I'll see you back on the next video. Peace out.